So I'm playing on a PC. I'm a little further advanced here in my own game, starting this off as a walkthrough, doing the stuff that I know well. We want to start a new lineage, and we'll call this just walkthrough. I'm a lover of open world games. Played the Assassin's Creed's last few games and a few of the others from Ubisoft, and this is sort of out of the Ubisoft. So first time player, I don't like the HUD because I know what I'm doing. It gets in the way, but it's useful in the beginning. And yeah, we'll just start. I think this is a great concept. Really, it's so originally that big gamble for the guy starting off his own company. There are 2 videos of him out there. One early days talking about the development of the game, and one recently preemptive of its launch. I mean, it's not going to be a big challenger for things, but I think it'll be successful. If you like this kind of open world game and like the challenge of its, searching environments and discovering things, it is definitely a challenge. The game does not have a save mechanic, so we have to do alternative things, because if you keep losing the members of your group, eventually you're not going to evolve very well. I don't know why they've done that. I know it's part of their ideal theme, but quite frankly, you don't want to spend hours and hours playing and then get some of your ape family dead and got to start all over again. So there's a way around that by just looking at the save file, copying it, pasting into another folder, and then repasting it back as and when necessary, and we'll go over that. So we've got to wait for the opening thing. And the guy's got a lot of experience because he did one of the Assassin's Creed games a way back. And it's amazing if you look at this environment. I don't know whether they went to Africa, Kenya, and tried to map out some of the planet's topography, which might have existed back in that day. I mean, he said in an interview that he read up on anthropology and didn't take anything from the movies. He obviously wanted to kind of structure it based on the real elements of what went on. Wikipedia tells you that there's going to be a 3-part series to this game, and this game will go up to the discovery of Lucy, which was in Kenya. She was about 2.3 million years ago. So it's hop, skip and a jump from there as to what the future will hold. Some of it is a bit unrealistic, as if you had a stick and you were a pseudo-human and a saber-toothed tiger was charging at you. There was no way you would stand in its way, spear it, and would survive. But you know, you've got to create a game. There's got to be some mechanics that just aren't totally realistic, but it gives you a flavour of what it is. And to enjoy this, I think you've got to be willing to put yourself into the position of what it might be like for a creature back in those times. Very scary. I mean, a lot of them obviously died, and it's just a game. But things to have fun and enjoy the environment. There are a variety of mechanics to learn. The combat, I found, I don't like it. In fact, I hate it. I've only just managed, after many trials and failures, succeeded to kill my first snake. I find it traumatic because you've got mere seconds to do this mechanic of locking in your weapon, moving forward, releasing it into an attack mode, and I just hate it. I think I've never come across an attack mechanic in any game like that, and I think it's terrible. And some of the people who I've watched who are very good managed to master it with incredible skill, but I'm not really that good at it at the moment. But no doubt with practice it will get better. So where we start, it's like a horseshoe, and in the middle of the horseshoe there is this little area where there's an oasis in the mountains, hills if you want, and the topography goes out to the right and the left with the cliffs going everywhere. So that's sort of where we are starting off, and I've been out there and around quite a bit, discovered what there is to discover, but it comes down to the basics of survival: sleep, eating, drinking, getting food. So we start off with this child, and he's got to kind of get himself to safety, so he really wants to find a little safety spot. So there it is. We'll just identify that. I was terrified when I first started playing this, but nothing's going to attack you. You can just wander over here quite comfortably without being terrorized by it. But this is, when you get into this domain, I mean, really, it's scary. I think that's the dynamic of this game, is that it is scary. It is realistically. I mean, I'm sure your heart rate goes up quite a bit, or at least you definitely get some sensation of not feeling comfortable. So you don't need to mash the key here. When we get to, he's going to climb up and hide. So just, oops, we just kind of drop down there. Drop. Let's jump off there. Going to climb up. Thank you. Go back. So just tap, and he'll go into his little spot. And then we have to go rescue him. But he's not very far away. So the first part is go find the child. So briefly take a quick look at this environment. So there's the waterfall coming down, and the environment goes out, over, down, in that direction, in that direction. So let's go try and get baby. He's down on the floor somewhere. He's not too far away. We've just got to try and find his little hiding place. We should be able to identify that by listening to the little chappie. We're coming for you, lad. Don't worry. We'll be there. So we need to listen. Where are you, laddie? No, I can't quite see you there. Yeah, there he is. There's a little boy. Folks, I'm identifying. Okay, lad. We'll be coming for you in a minute. We'll be right as... Oh dear, I wasn't intending to do that. Right as rain. Now, nothing's going to attack you here, because there's nothing in the area but snakes, and they're further away. So you don't need to get terrified about getting in. You can take your time and just do a little tap, gentle tap. You don't need to mash it. Let him do his thing, and then he'll just calm down a bit, and he'll calm down a bit more. No, come on. Oh, I didn't get it right. There you go. Come on, son. Come on, meet the clan. We got you now. Give you some cookies. Drink a milk. You'll be okay. So, I come from Birmingham, England, so I variously will do my northern accent, which isn't really area specific. Just got that silly nonsense of talking like they do up north somewhere. Okay, chappie, come along. We're going to do a little jump, and then you're going to meet your fans and your family. Okay, here you go. You got lucky there, son. You landed in the right spot. So it'll bring you in, and then that finishes the first part. There you go. Now you're going to have other people to play with. Yay! Have a drink. Get some fruit. Play with the kiddies. So we'll deal with the sleeping, the eating, the drinking, and then the saving of the file, because we don't want to kind of have bad things happening, and it's a good point in time to kind of go back and do that. So when you guys have finished all that hugging and kissing and making up and everything, you'll get on with this game. So little fella's on my back right now, so we're going to go take a drinky. Just the first mechanic is got to inspect it and find out that it actually is drinking water. So yeah, you've got some water to drink there. So everybody come and drink. Come on boys, time to drink. I think there's only one female in this group, so you can only mate twice with a female, so obviously use different partners. So there's a little yellowish circle goes in that green thing. Now over on the left, on the right, I was very confused by this. The 3 dots on the left, I think, are the male adults. The 2 dots on the top are the elders, and the 2 orange ones on the bottom are the children. So we'll go get some food, and this is one of the first ones you'll come to, and we'll come back to this later, but this is food, and they're all, so we'll inspect this. There's things you can do with this. It's very useful medicinal substance, so you can chomp on that. There you go, chomp, chomp, chomp. Everybody else, come on boys, get your fill lads. It does grow fairly quickly, so overnight it replenishes itself. So there's only sleep now. So where are we? Our bed's up there. So you can see that it does help you with broken bones. If you've got broken bones, then a horse tail is very good. What time have we got? It's early evening. So we will now take our first evolution. So lie down, lad, and let's do our first evolution. It sets up, hopefully. Are we getting any? We're supposed to get our first mechanic. Maybe it's because we haven't slept, but the first mechanic of being able to hold things with 2 hands should come up, and it hasn't yet, so we will go to sleep. I'm not sure when that mechanic comes up. We'll let him have some sleep for a few hours, and then we'll come back to that. Well, let him sleep till morning, why not? Give him a good night's sleep, and then we will see if that changes it. Oh, we haven't finished yet, dude. Come on, keep going. So let's see if the sleep was necessary for that function to be activated. That hasn't come up yet. So let's go with the saving of the game at this point. You're going to quit the game and go look for its file. It'll be on a PC under the general place where files get put. User, apply data, local, there under ancestry, save games, and I've already set up a folder, walkthrough folder. So that's my game, this is this game. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, so we just copy that and put it in our walkthrough folder, just paste it in there. So if when you want to come back, you can just compare the times and see if you need to do anything appropriate to changing it and getting your game back when you do things that don't work. So we'll go back in and visit some of the other things. Eventually the 2-hand holding things will come up. It has done that in the past. After I've done through this sequence, it's appeared, but it'll turn up eventually. So we'll go through a little bit of the mechanics of some of the items there. So we've got food, and we've got 3 kinds of rocks which are useful. Let's start you over, and we'll continue. I thought it actually came up when we actually went through this cycle. I'm sure it came up before. Why it just now? We'll eventually wander into it. Just do something else in the meantime. So there's lots to do locally, lots to find out when we come through. If you go wandering around and you want to make a new encampment, you have to make a bed. So we'll go and we can't do that till we can exchange hands. I really don't know what sets it up, because there's not much you can do until this happens. And for whatever reason, I don't know why it's not giving us that evolution right now. It has done in the past. Well, this is a bit problematic. Let's put child down. First of all, just in case he has something to do with it. And then try again. Eventually it'll sort itself out. I don't really remember what set this mechanic up. So we can only go through this mechanism. You can't do anything until you can use 2 hands, because you have to manipulate things. So we'll go back and eat again. Let's see if this mechanic will sort itself out. Because until that happens, you're pretty much dead in water. Can't do anything really. It's happened going through this sequence of events before. I don't know why it's doing it now. Because basically you can only pick things up, and you can't do anything with them until you can actually use 2 hands. Other than eating food. There are some berries over here, which I think eventually if you eat too many of them, they'll upset your stomach. So we'll focus on that. That's not what we was trying to do. Yes, now we can inspect the berries. Oh, look at this. These berries look good. I wonder if they're okay to eat. We'll go try them. I think you probably do get an upset stomach if you eat a ton of these eventually. You can eat some. What are we doing now? Oh, you picked up a rock, have you? Okay, well, we'll look at the rock then. Oh, now it's gone. You picked up a rock accidentally, so let's look at the rock. Oh my golly, what's this? Oh, so granite is one of the 3 kinds of rocks here. So we'll drop the rock. And this mechanic has to come about because we can't do anything without it. We can grab this, but we can't do anything with it. We can inspect it. We'll get there eventually. Hello, what have we got here? We've got a branch. We have to do anything with that. We need to change hands. But bamboozled as to why this mechanic is not being good to us. Come on, give us the hand-holding thing. There we go. Let's hopefully we've got that one. Finally, we've got our motor skills. It just took one of these other things to set itself up. Now we got one other. Perception, the range of detection of odors and sound is slightly increased. So the more you do this, the better it gets, the more your neurons grow. You do need to carry a child around, as other people have indicated, because it helps with your neural growth. So we'll go pick up little boy here. So we need to lie down. We're already lie down. Why are we not lying? Well, let's go. Let's pick the little man up. Come on, little man. Get on my back. Come for a ride. Alright, now we can start doing this thing. Making a bed. This is a bed. It's one of the first things you have to do. So we'll find that over here. Let's identify these first. Okay, how's that? You want to see what that is, lad? So, inspect you. Oh, look at that. So you can lay these down for bed, and as is necessary when you are exploring, if you want to make a new reservation, new home, we'll just pop these down and go get a few more and make our first bed. And there we go. There's tons to do around here before you contemplate going out into the open world, and there's mechanics that you need to get before you even go anywhere near trying to take on things like snakes and warthogs, because you need to be able to hold an instrument in two hands. It's going to be a stick, which we'll make shortly, a pointy stick, and that will come down in the mechanics later on in the game, so it's no rushing to get outside, learn all the local stuff, have fun while you're here, go talk to your buddies, get mating in. So we'll do that shortly. Let's just finish off the bed one at a time. Okay, now we should be able to make bed. We'll put this here. There we go. Oh, we can do it already. So tap, thank you. And tap, 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 build. Oh, you built a bed. Oh, we don't need that. Actually, there's something you can do with this now that's just quite interesting. So you switch hands, and we're going to strip it of its leaves. So do it gently at first, because finally we've got it. Now this stick is quite useful. Let's change hands again. So take a look at what we got here, lad. Oh my golly! Whoa, we got a little sticky. Yeah, I wonder what I can do with that. Probably can pick my nose with that. Well, actually there's only one thing you can do with a stick that I know of, and that's to go and get honey. Up there we have honey. There's bees. So if we climb up here, and that's very useful for protecting. What does honey do? It cures poison, and we'll find out. There's a few things you can do with honey, so why don't we do that right now, because we're just developing, showing what the stick can do. So come over here. It's got to be in your right hand. Oh, we've got to inspect it first. What we've got here, lad? Oh my golly, that looks good. Those bees around, they don't seem to be very friendly. So take a little poke. I'm going to try this out and see. Let's have a look at this. Oh, that smells good. Yeah, well, we'll try that out, see what it does. Well, you're going to eat it, lad. There you go. Oh, that's nice. I wonder how they did at the dentist. Eat all these sugary things. You need to do this 3 times over. Most of the mechanics in this game need to be done repetitively for you to get neural progress. So in this case, you need to do it 3 times over to repair whatever it is. So it's showing us that we're actually giving us resistance to poison by eating honey. So if you get bitten by a snake and you've got this buff on there, you'll survive that. But there are other ways of dealing with that. Basically, when you get bitten by a snake, you need to buy water, and if you drink the water, it'll clear it out of your stomach. So that's the mechanic of part of that, and the other one is let's go get it. We can actually remove it. And I think this stops bleeding. My notes say, yeah, you can use it for. So we're going to remove it. We need to switch over and alter it. We're going to strip it off carefully. Alright, now apply this to your body. Now this protects you. If you're bleeding, I think this is what this does. If you're bleeding, it'll repair bleeding. There you go. Now we're resistant to bleeding. And you can do that. You can get the honey and stockpile it and put that on yourself, so that if an animal bites you, and it's going to be something like a saber tooth, because snakes basically will poison you, and warthogs will break your bones. Let's drop this sticky down here.